So July is a really massive month astrologically, and what I want to talk about today is just have a quick look at the nodes of the moon changing signs. This is something that happens about every 18 months, and it can be a really interesting factor for people personally and also for the world at large. So I'm going to explain to you what it means and also how to know if it's impacting you personally. So what are the nodes? So they are just a mathematical point that is worked out. It is the orbit of the moon intersecting with the ecliptic of the sun. So it's a really interesting point in the sky, which is sort of an amalgamation of the solar sun yang energy and the more sensitive, intuitive moon yin energy. And it's a really important axis. The north and the south node are always 180 degrees apart. And in a birth chart, you'll look to the south node to see innate gifts and talents, and you might look to the north node to see a little bit of life purpose and direction. The south node can feel really easy, the north node can feel more challenging, but can offer more fulfillment in the long term. So the nodes have just changed signs. They've come out of the Taurus-Scorpio axis and they've shifted into the Libra-Aries axis. So the north node is in Aries, the south node is in Libra. Why do we care? Well, the nodes always show us the path of the upcoming eclipses. Eclipses always happen within a certain amount of degrees of the nodal axis. So if you're someone with a lot of Libra or Aries placements, you might be just entering into a pretty crazy time, perhaps going to be fairly eventful for you over the next 18 months. If you've got a lot of Scorpio and Taurus placements and you've had a pretty traumatic or tumultuous time over the past 18 months, you can relax because your sort of latest energetic challenges perhaps are going to ease for you. So with the North Node moving into Aries, I think all of us can have an opportunity to analyze how we can step more into ourselves, be more authentically, individually ourselves. It's a pretty selfish sign in some ways, Aries, because it's all about putting yourself first and going for it. It's fierce, it's initiating, it's brave, it's courageous, it's quite combative. It's really taking things on. The South Node, which we might be wanting to release a little more, is all the Libran qualities of deferring to others, being diplomatic, just being easygoing and indecisive. It's time to push all that aside and to head towards some of those Aries traits. So as the nodes change sign, they're now squaring Pluto, and this is pretty interesting. Pluto is what's called sitting at the bendings of the nodes, and it can feel like a real turning point, any planet at that bendings degree. Pluto, of course, everything it touches, it intensifies, it transforms things, it can destroy things and sort of create space for a rebirth of some way, in some way. And it is pretty interesting that as a globe, we've just had our hottest month on record. It does feel like a real turning point in how we're going to go forward. What are we going to do about the climate? What are we going to do? And with the North Node now in Aries, what are we going to do as individuals? Where's our personal responsibility in this global issue? In the cardinal signs, we are really wanting to initiate things and take action around things. And if you are someone who has planets or your ascendant perhaps in those last degrees of cardinal signs, so that's Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, this could be a really pivotal time for you where you're really having to say, what am I going to do? What am I going to step up and do? It's time to inhabit your fierceness, inhabit your courage and go forward in a new direction. That is exactly what's authentically right for you. So it's time to make decisions, take action and go for it. I wish you all the best.